Hello, Dr. Chris Barnett here. This is a slightly different video to the other ones that are on my channel. And this is because hopefully will turn itself into a new series of videos about solar panels, solar energy and battery storage. Because currently we are looking into the possibility of having a solar panel system and battery system fitted to our house here in Swansea. So my plan for the next few weeks is to actually make some videos about how solar panels work, how the batteries work, and how anything else related to that system works as well. So the inverters and what's out there and what the current technology is, which is commercially available, and then also looking into what research is currently being done in those fields to see where the technology is going to go in the future. But also I'm going to add in videos as well about the actual process we're going through in deciding what we want to add to the house. So just to give a bit of background and my thought process that I'm currently going through is that energy prices in the UK are currently going up. This is partly down to the war in the Ukraine. It's also partly to do with just general economics that's going on as well. So prices are going up. We've been relatively lucky because we managed to fix our gas and electricity prices last July before the prices started going up. But in the UK, we have something called the energy price cap, which limits how much prices will go up on a half-yearly basis. And that is partly to protect consumers or customers from any firms that want to massively hike their prices. Unfortunately, what it does as well, it means that firms, if there are a sudden increase in energy prices, such as gas or oil, have to be able to absorb that or go bust, and a number of firms have gone bust. So the regulator, which is Ofgem, set an amount by which the energy price cap can go up, and they set it for 50% in April. So people's gas and electricity prices, if they were on a variable rate or going to a new deal, could have gone up by 50%. That price cap gets reviewed again in October, and there was kind of talk of it going up by another 50%. So people are seeing their energy bills almost double. So I said we are lucky because we're fixed in until at least March 2024. So our energy bills are staying the same as what they were before. However, we're also trying to plan for the future. So in the UK, the government has recently announced laws where they're going to phase out, I suppose, fossil-fueled cars, so petrol and diesel cars, and that's going to come in the 2030 to 2035. So our car is currently 7 years old. It's a diesel. We bought it in good faith a number of years ago before all the problems with diesel were announced. But we're hoping that will last us for another 5 years at least, and then we can look into getting an electric car then. So we want to be able to produce power for that electric car cheap. So it's unlikely that the electricity prices are going to come down at any time soon. So we're trying to future-proof what's going to happen in the next decade, 2 decades. This house is also, as far as we can tell, going to be our forever house. It's in a nice location. We're happy here. Sort of the right size for us. So we are looking to invest in the house and therefore reap the rewards of that over time, rather than in sort of 2 or 3 years' time sell up and move on to somewhere else. So something like solar panels and battery storage is going to be useful for that as well. We have also been lucky enough to accumulate quite a large number of savings over the past few years as well, which are currently sat in a savings account. And UK interest rates, even though they have been going up, which is the Bank of England base rate of interest, So they were at 0.1% for quite a long time. They've now started creeping up, at least for the last couple of months, by at least 0.25%. However, if you were trying to take out a loan, you would have found that the amount of interest on that loan has been going up. However, the amount that banks are putting into the interest rates on savings has not changed at all. So we're currently getting about 0.4% on a Santander 123 account, which when we opened that account was paying 3% on savings. So the interest rates are low, and again, we can't see interest rates on savings going particularly high over the next few years due to the effects of quantitative easing during the last recession. Because as far as my understanding of economics is concerned, is that banks needed to have a certain amount of money that they have in order to be able to loan out. They have to have a certain percentage ratio between those two, between the amount of money they have and the amount they can loan. So they were always interested in offering a decent rate of return on savings to encourage people to put money into that bank in order for them to loan out more money. However, with the quantitative easing, the Bank of England just printed money to give to the banks, so they were had no interest in actually getting people to save with them. So we can't see interest rates on savings going up. So we're basically going to be treating a solar panel or a solar system as an investment. So our house is south facing, it's about 10 degrees off, it's about 190 degrees from north. So it's pretty much perfect. We have no shading, we're on the top of a hill in Swansea, so there's unlikely any buildings going to go up which will shade our roof. The trees around us, again, don't interfere with our roof either, so we don't get any shading from that. We do get a little bit of shading from next door, which is a semi-detached house. They have a dormer, so first thing in the morning when the sun is coming around, we do get a little bit of shading off that. So that's something we have been trying to take into account while working out the logic of what system would be best for us. And the roof has really no features on it. We have a chimney pot on one side, or chimney stack on the one side, which is joined to the house next door, and we have a wood burning chimney pipe on the other side, which does limit a little bit of this roof space, but hardly anything at all. So the house is 6 meters wide and between 9 and 10 meters in length, which means that we've got pretty much a 6 by, if we're going for a sort of standard 33-degree roof pitch, which I think we've got for my measurements in the roof space, we've got about 6 by 5 meters worth of space, and then less a little bit for those chimney pots. So solar panels are normally about 1.1 meter wide by about 1.8 meters long. So in theory, we could fit probably about 12 to 13 panels on our roof. So we can have a row of 5 on the bottom, then above that, depending on how the chimney and the chimney pot and the wood burning pipe is, either another 5 or 4 along that. And then if we put the solar panels on their side, we could fit another 3 along the top. So that would be, as I say, 12 to 13 panels. The amount of power generated by a panel, or the most that they can come out of, looking around just what sort of general websites on solar panels talk about, is between about 375 watts up to about 500 watts. So if we went for the highest end of that number, with 500 watt panels, and we had 12 of them, we would have a 6 kilowatt solar panel array on the roof. If we had 13, it would be a 6.5 kilowatt array. It seems that the most popular size of power for solar panel is actually about 400. So we're talking about a 5 kilowatt array up there. So there is a couple of provisos that I have to take into account. First of all, if you are generating power, you have to register it, and there's some sort of form that has to be filled in by the company that installs the solar panel. And there's two forms. If you're generating something like less than 3.7 kilowatts, you fill out one form and the paperwork goes through easier. If you have to, if you're generating more than that, you have to fill out a second form, and that has to be approved. It's likely to be approved, so it shouldn't be an issue. So the power gets generated on the roof by the solar panels and comes out in a DC form. It then has to go into an inverter, and inverters come in different power ratings. And from what I've read, is you ideally want to match the inverter to the size of the array. So if you have a 5 kilowatt array, you want a 5 kilowatt inverter because they operate best when they are close to capacity. So if we went for the 6 kilowatt array, then we would need to have a 6 kilowatt inverter. We also are looking into getting a battery storage system. So the power we generate, if we're not using it instantaneously, we can store and then use it at night, which again will bring down the cost, means we have less reliance on the grid. We have actually relatively low electrical usage in this house. We are currently using about 2.2 kilowatt hours, no, 2,500 kilowatt hours, which is 2.5 megawatt hours per year, or just under that, between that 2,200 and 2,500. But as I say, with electric vehicles coming in the future, that will go up because we will want to power the car from that. We also currently have gas central heating. Part of my long-term plan is to reduce the reliance on that. So the wood burner helps, but also we could possibly put in some sort of storage heaters in a few of the rooms, which will take the solar power during the day, heat the radiators up, and therefore just release the heat slowly over the night and the next day. So we know that, especially speaking to sort of an older generation, that storage heaters had a bit of a bad rap, but they are getting more efficient now and better. So they look like a viable solution to our heating problem. There are also, we have a gas boiler. There are systems coming on the market, such as the TEDO boiler system, which again runs off electricity. It's a bit like a storage heater, but for your hot water, and can slot straight in on top of or in the place of the current gas boiler. So currently the UK government is pushing air source heat pumps, which take heat from the air surrounding the building and then convert that into hot air inside, which can then heat water to make your hot water for washing up, showers, and also put the heat into radiators. However, there are some major problems with them, which include you needing bigger radiators and bigger pipe work. So we need to have new radiators, new pipe work, which would become expensive. Also, air source heat pumps require electricity to work. So looking at the price, what we think prices are going to rise to, and how much electricity it takes to run one of those air source heat units, we're talking about £600 a year for this house, which is quite a lot. It's more than we're paying for our electricity at the moment, and is actually comparable to the gas we're paying for. So again, if we're not thinking of going for air source because they do cause problems. People say that they're quiet, but over time bearings wear through and they start rattling and making a noise. They're not particularly efficient, especially on the times when you want to bring heat into the house. When it's cold outside, they have to work harder to extract the air because the cold air is cold outside to bring it in. So there are problems with them. but these TEDO boiler systems seem to be a better solution, and they're cheaper as well. Unfortunately, there's no grants on them at the moment. So that's what we're looking at. So we're looking at, for the inverter, probably something like a hybrid inverter, because you can get AC coupled, DC coupled, and all these, and I'll go through those in another video and about how they work and what's actually happening to them. Battery systems, again, we're trying to work out what sort of battery size we want. It looks like some firms do modular batteries. So there's Pylon-Tech, which come in 2.6 kilowatt units. So you can just add those onto your system, depending on how much battery storage you want. You can get 5 kilowatt hour batteries as well, which is what we're initially thinking of going for, and you can go up from there. And as you say, they're modular, you can plug more in. However, some of these systems require you to buy the same size battery. So if you had a 5 kilowatt hour battery and you wanted to add another battery to it, you have to add another 5 kilowatt hour battery to it, which will bring you up to a 10 kilowatt hour system in total. But so that's something to bear in mind. We're currently using about 6 kilowatt hours a day on average. That goes up in the winter and down in the summer, depending on lights and things like that. So it's a balancing act. So this is the type of thing that I'm going to take this channel into discussing. So please hit the like and subscribe button so you can keep up to date with our journey as we go through the sort of solar power battery system journey. So hope you find this useful, and I'll see you soon.